Now move over, Swanson. I'm driving.
Wow!
Hey, Smails! My dinghy's bigger than your whole boat!
Welcome back to the Caddyshack Minute, a podcast in which we slice into the woods as we analyze the film Caddyshack 1 minute at a time. I am Tom Taylor, and I am joined as always by Mike DeMaria.
Hello, but we don't know that he's sliced yet, Tom.
That's true, but people are watching the movie. He was about to swing at the end of the last minute.
Yeah, but you just gave it away. Go ahead, continue.
Spoilers, he slices into the woods. Spoilers, Al Czervic got to him. Anyway, and we're also here with Dan Lewis.
Yep.
And, by God, we're joined today by our first guest on the show, Kevin Maher. Welcome, Kevin.
Thank you. This is such an honor, guys. I feel like I'm the guest, to your Drew Scott and Gatsby. I'm the loudmouth coming in, even though I'm not officially a member.
Yeah, right. No, it's a good thing you knew us, because then you can be on the show.
He's a guest of the Scots.
Yeah.
Right. And
That'll be our first t-shirt.
I know Tom because I've done the Indiana Jones podcast. You can listen to our 5 episodes when India's in the well room. And you can find out more about my show, Kevin Geeks Out, by going to kevingeeksout.com, where we do a monthly video variety comedy show in Brooklyn, New York, for the East Coast listeners.
Which I used to be. I need to get back to the East Coast and see your show sometime.
Anytime, let me know.
That'd be awesome.
This is a real transcontinental show today.
We're bringing the world together.
This is the Hands Across America of Caddyshack podcasts.
Yeah.
Both coasts in the Midwest.
Yep.
I like to think of it as no escape. We've got you surrounded.
Kevin's a guest of the Scots. He's rolling in in a big red Rolls Royce, blaring "I'm in the money" with his horn.
That's style.
Ready to just upend what we've our stodgy old podcast.
Well, listen, we're here to specifically talk about minute 22 of Caddyshack, which begins with Judge Smails, indeed, as Mike took me to task for, slicing into the woods, as Al Czervic predicted, and it ends a minute later with Al Czervic teeing off toward an oblivious Judge Smails.
That's right. It ends. The other one ended just before he's about to slice, and this one ends just before another great thing's about to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of that slice, I mean, do we get the impression that Judge Smails is actually a decent golfer and that the only reason he's sliced right now is purely because Al got under his skin?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's mental. I think he, it's the power of suggestion.
Yeah. I think you're right.
And again, we mentioned before when Judge Smails was rolling up in this Rolls Royce, smile on his face. The second he sees that gopher,
The worst day of his life.
and it's like the worst day of his life. Suddenly, his entire life is about to change. It's about to crumble, right? And he's never sliced before. He's got that continuity. Then suddenly, because of Al Czervic, boom, he sliced for the first time in his life.
Let's go over the events. I mean, day was coming up roses, saw the gopher.
Right.
He pulls up. There's some asshole parked in his parking spot.
Mm-hmm.
Walks into the clubhouse. There's the Scots playing some sort of a card game.
Go fish.
It's just compiling on top of each other. Goes to the pro shop. He's got this brash guest of the Scots making fun of his hat, and I can't wear his hat on the course. Right. It's just stacking up on top of each other.
Every single thing is going wrong for him today. It's like a living nightmare he's having.
But he's ready to right the ship. He's ready to say, I never slice.
Right.
And he's ready to hit it try and true right down the fairway. And guess what?
Do we take that at face value that he actually never slices? Is the first time he's ever sliced?
No.
Yeah.
you don't think
All
so?
of that previous stuff being said, I do believe he has slices and he's lying.
Yeah,
He's
that's
a
probably
cheater,
true.
too, as we see later in the minute.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
He's not to be trusted in any way. He's a judge. I like that Wang actually is taking pictures as Smails walks away pissed.
Well, I really have to say, watching it for the minute and really taking an up close look, I love the angry walk that Knight does for Judge Smails. That's such a great walk when he's pissed off.
He wants to get out of there quick.
Yeah, so I would love to see those photos. If this movie were made today, there would be a website of Wang's photos.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Oh my God.
The real
the extra
photos.
content.
The Instagram account of Wang's photos.
They'd look at them every day with the dailies.
Mhm.
They go, let's see Wang's photos too.
Well, there is something that I noticed when he was in the going back a couple minutes when he gets out of the car. The sound is obviously so canned. It's like such a perfect sound of an electronic or electric, not electric, like a quick shutter.
Yeah.
But he has a camera that's manual.
Right, yeah,
Right.
It doesn't have that machine. I don't even know what they're called, but
It's a
like
Foley, right? Yeah, or like the auto,
like a trigger.
auto trigger. I don't know what they
It's
call
just a canned sound right out of the.
We need to add to the list of things we know nothing about, cameras. We got golf, we've got cameras, we've got
movie making, film,
movie making, Caddyshack,
Life in general.
actors.
life in general. How to make a buck.
Zero about that.
I'll bring a little research to the table. I found out that the $100 bet in 1980 would be worth $292.30 today.
That's
Oh.
right there.
So that's a big bet.
That's very interesting. That's a very large bet. And like you said, if they did make the movie today, that would be the scene wouldn't roll off the tongue quite as well with the $292 bet about slicing the woods.
I bet you $292 you slice into the woods.
That doesn't roll off the tongue very well.
Yeah, right.
And 75 cents.
Yeah. Let's round it up to 293.
I would have guessed. I would have gone like double or so, but it's more like triple. Damn.
Yeah, it's inflation.
Well, I got to tell you, Kevin bringing that up, that's like if you walk into a job interview like this and you got that research ready to go. Just wait for the right minute and bam, it's good.
Yeah.
See?
Exactly. Yeah.
You're prepared.
Although you may have actually done some extrapolation and figured out what the worth, the amount of bet would be for when this episode actually airs as to when we're recording it.
Yeah,
That's
should've
true.
done the math.
412.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
After the election, how many pebbles and pigeon skulls?
Yeah. How many cigarettes and how many rusty pails of gasoline is it worth?
Yeah. And we're back to Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome.
Right. Oh, we laugh to keep from crying.
Yeah. We're living in tree huts.
We're lucky. I'd love to have a tree hut.
Do you notice how angry Bishop Bickering is in this entire scene?
No, I did not.
He's got a scowl on his face, and then when Judge walks away, he turns around and looks back at where Al is standing, and then kind of angrily hands his golf club like he's going to give it to the caddy.
Yeah.
He's not
I
happy.
do remember that look. Yeah.
I have to get that shirt. I've decided. I noticed last time that he's wearing a polo shirt, but instead of the polo guy, it's got a cross.
Oh, that's
embroidered on it.
fantastic.
That is
I never
really,
noticed
really
that.
great.
Yeah, and we were speculating that was created for the film. Like they didn't just find a polo shirt with a cross on it like that. Well, maybe
I
they
can
did.
almost believe that exists in the world for,
It's for those churches that have aluminum siding on them. You know what I'm talking about? Like
casual.
not a
clearly.
real church, but when you're just like driving through southern Indiana, and there's just a big church with a neon
trucker's church.
cross. Yeah, right. The
Yeah, it's like the trucker's
driving
church. Yeah.
Drive through.
It's like one of those auxiliary units, like those mobile, like little auxiliary units that they would have, and they would just have a cross outside, and the truckers would come in.
Yeah.
They'd go say their prayers, and they'd go over and get one of the hookers over by the diesel pumps.
Yeah, I'll take a handy and a couple of Slim Jims.
Forgive me, Father. I'm about to sin.
I'm about to sin in 15 minutes and 45 seconds. Right after I eat them biscuits and gravy. Truck stop Trixie. Oh, what a life.
Oh, why didn't we become truckers?
Speaking of
well.
back to Smails' walk, Smails, this is the second great walk he does in the film. Of course, he comes out with the goose stepping stiff leg.
Oh, yeah.
When he originally confronts Sandy McFiddish about
yeah.
the Gophers.
Yeah.
And he's a great walker, and the physical. I love when he goes, the way he says, damn, and like he sort of stomps his feet and his arms all at once. Damn.
I'm not exaggerating at all, and I know that most of the people on this show right now will agree with me. This is one of the best performances in film is Ted Knight in this movie.
He's so
fantastic.
I have to tell you've said on one of the previous minutes, I think Tom had said that the judge is your favorite character. I don't know if that changes from episode to episode. I was doing a production. I was directing a commercial, and we were on a golf course, and everybody over a certain age was quoting Caddyshack all day. And I think Judge Smails probably gets quoted the most. It's so much fun to see his lines.
Yeah.
I owe you nothing. You'll get nothing and like it. As well in the previous minute, what do you call those vocal acrobats that Ted Knight does? The way he talks, really, just a drop.
Yeah, he's just I don't know. Yeah, he's a magician.
That's from his I don't know when I realized this. I was like in my teens or something, that he was the narrator and the voice of the Joker on like the Batman cartoons and like Justice League and all that.
Yeah, he did Super Friend. Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice.
Exactly. That's exactly what he sounds like. He was like, really? I don't believe it.
Batman, do you want to be good?
Batman.
Danny. I love that. Oh yeah. Oh, he's the best. Yeah, the best.
He's the best.
And
I think he's on that Twilight Zone he's in a few Twilight Zones, I think, but there's that one with Jack Warden where Jack Warden's like he's serving a prison sentence on an asteroid.
That's right. Yeah, where they give him the mechanical woman.
Yeah, they bring him like a robot woman, and like Ted Knight he's like one of the like the supply run guys, and he's always a constant dick to Jack Warden, who's clearly like a nice guy. He's serving his time. He's trying to do. And he's like, hey, you like it out here living on an asteroid? Yeah, you big loser. And he's like such a jerk to him, but like not in a Smails way. It's like a different kind of jerk.
Oh, totally different.
Awesome.
Totally different.
Oh wow, I gotta see that. I mean, I think he didn't get his Oscar, but
No.
I mean, if I have any goal with this show, it's to with this podcast is to get him an Irving Thalberg Memorial Award if I can, and I feel like we can politic for that.
And it'd be worth it just to watch the audience sit there and have to take it.
Exactly. I want Spielberg stripped of his, and I want Smails put in his place.
So I did do some research because I thought this is my one episode I'm guesting on. I want to try to get in as much as I can. Do you know who was up for the role of Judge Smails?
Oh, I thought I had this. This is the type of information which clearly all three of us should know, but don't. Damn, I don't remember.
Wow.
Who is it?
Jason Robards.
Oh,
weird.
No, I didn't know that. In fact,
Yeah,
I like Jason Robards.
Yeah. I like Jason Robards, but it's just like growing up with Ted Knight in this role. I can't imagine anyone else in the role.
Right.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm sure that would have worked in a way, but it wouldn't have been this.
I would. Yeah.
I'm afraid Jason Robards would actually play like an actual horrible person that you would hate instead of like a lovable, hateable guy.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think he could pull off maybe the cartoonishness of it.
Could go dark.
But he was a very great actor, but he's not going to do that. I could see, maybe it'd be great if they switched and Smails was Ben Bradley in All the President's Men. And Jason Robards that'd be great to see that. Woodstein? Get in here.
Do you know what Agnew can do to a golf course?
Is anyone going to go on record in this story?
Okay, Pookie.
Okay, Pookie. Yeah.
And then the other casting stuff I found out doing research, who was up for Danny? Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke would have been would have been Danny in an alternate universe.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. And this is a little too on the nose. The other consideration for Al was going to be Don Rickles.
That I did hear. That one I heard somewhere in one of those little interviews they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, Don Rickles.
I'd like to see that movie. That'd be interesting.
I don't know. Then it just feels like a Don Rickles movie.
Yeah, like the all the casting you just mentioned sounds more like the movie that Doug Kenny probably thought they were making, or that he wanted to make. That was more like a straight down the line kind of class.
So is that why Doug Kenny
Clash thing or something?
Doug Kenny hated the movie. He really hated John Peters. He hated the Gopher. He grew up a huge fan of Evelyn Waugh, and wanted to do this kind of like Evelyn Waugh wrote Brideshead Revisited. And most people would probably know the movie The Loved One. He wrote these kinds of like British social satires about the hypocrisies of the ruling class, and I read the book Decline and Fall because it's like one of the shorter Evelyn Waugh books. And reading it, I'm like, oh my god, I totally see where parts of Caddyshack are totally aiming for this, in parts of it. And he wanted it to be this like class warfare movie about where the caddies meet the upper crust. And instead the studio in re-editing it and then adding the gopher, he hated the movie. And apparently he showed up like drunk at a press conference cursing at John Peters, and Chevy Chase had to be the voice of reason to talk him down. So it's like, somebody's filled with rage if Chevy Chase is calming them down.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
I think also too, because they were talking about, originally it was the caddies were the focal point.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think as they start, and this was also brought up too, that as they started to add more star power, as Rodney signed on,
right?
Chevy Chase signed on, they kind of said, well, we can't really make it about these no-name caddies,
right?
Actor-wise, it has to be kind of centered around, the big hitters that are in the movie.
Yeah.
But I find that interesting that Kenny wanted all this, yet he was storking in Animal House.
You moron.
What do you want us
What kind
to
of
do,
movie you trying to
moron?
make, you moron?
Yeah, it's funny, because he wanted to do all these he wanted to write that kind of a movie, but he did. He wrote Animal House, and he wrote. I don't know. He doesn't have a ton of credits yet, but he must have had some real designs on a much different career.
I mean, he wrote all kinds of nostalgia pieces for National Lampoon, so he was writing a lot of stuff of looking back at the 50s at a time before Laverne and Shirley, before Happy Days, where it was this kind of looking back on the past with a sort of cynicism to it. So he as a writer was coming from this place where that movie was definitely in him, and he could have pulled it off, but that wasn't the movie the studio wanted to release.
Well, I mean, again, we talk about this with any movie you talk about. Like, anything could have been a lot different, but I'm pretty glad we got this movie is a mess. We've made no bones about that. It's a giant weird mess that shouldn't work at all, and in some ways it doesn't, but we love it.
Oh yeah, I'm the same way. I watched Meatballs not that long ago with my kids, and I hadn't seen it in a long time. And that's a movie where you could like shuffle the order of the scenes and rearrange them, and it would have very little impact on the final outcome. As long as it ends with the race, the movie is going to be fine.
You can sort of tell where the climax is, but everything else can just sort of
the messy kind of Shaggy Dog effect of these comedies is part of their charm.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
There's one amazing thing I noticed that I don't understand at all. As Al is talking to his caddy, Joey, a girl named Joey. Oh, I'm sorry, it's a boy named Joey. I'm sorry. It's clearly a boy. But anyway, there's Grace, the tall blonde woman who later drops Baby Ruth into the pool.
Mm-hmm.
She's happily chatting with Wang.
I noticed that. They're laughing and laughing.
Yeah.
Wang hasn't said a word in the entire movie, and I don't think he ever does.
Nope.
And I would love to know what they're chatting about or how.
It's almost flirtatious the way they're getting along.
Yeah, she's having a ball.
Mm-hmm.
And he just never stops smiling.
They're probably talking about Baby Ruths.
Right.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe he's talking. Maybe she's saying like, I'm sort of a Kit Kat gal, I guess. And Hardy's like, oh, I should try Baby Ruth. They're fantastic. Oh, really? All right.
Yeah, try it. Yeah, next time you go like a day at the pool or.
Oh, sure.
anything.
The caddy swim is coming up.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if this is around the era where the Reggie bar would have been available.
Oh, the Reggie bar.
Right, I think so. Yeah, like because he went to the Yankees.
Do you remember the Marathon bar?
Absolutely.
It was really
I
long.
love the
It was
Marathon
like
bar.
caramel and chocolate. It was braided.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And it was
Wait a
really
And the
long.
commercial,
Marathon
made it look like it went on forever. Like it was.
Yeah, and you would take a bite of it and pull it because it was very chewy.
Yeah.
I think I'm imagining a Charleston Chew right now.
No, it's not a Charleston Chew.
No.
Okay.
Although the
Ooh.
chocolate coating was similar to that.
Yeah.
It was that.
You know what
kinda
I
like-
want right now? A whatchamacallit.
Oh, those
sure.
were great.
Those were, yeah.
I had one of those recently I was like in Vermont and I saw it and I freaked out.
Yeah.
I think I bought
I have
three of them.
I have a friend who claims that his grade school class was instrumental in naming whatchamacallit. That they
Really?
like took some field trip to a candy factory or something, and they got to, we got this new candy bar. What should we call it? And as a class project, they named it whatchamacallit. I have no idea if this is true, but
did you ask him if there were little blue, little orange midgets dancing around there too, and that maybe there was,
they started off as 7 or 8, and not all of them made it.
That's one of those stories where someone they forgot it was a movie that they saw. I don't believe his story. I think he was thinking about Willy Wonka.
That's entirely possible.
Yeah.
I feel like that's one of those stories a kid would. How old were you, or how old was he when he told you that story?
He told me as an adult, but
that sounds like a child's. It sounds like a child's lie, where they think they can get away with it.
Hey, Tom.
Yeah,
Tom, was he sitting with you at Fenway Park when you were?
Yeah, when they invented the wave.
First wave.
I didn't say they invented the wave at Fenway. I said I was there the first time they did the wave.
So listen to this. You're a baseball fan, Kevin, or at all?
A little bit. I've been to Fenway Park.
Right, but this guy's talking about how it was. Now, don't say anything else, Tom. Just answer the question. What 1990? What now?
90. I bet it was
1990. You think they're doing the first ever wave at Fenway Park in 1990? Just give me your first impression of that.
My impression is no.
Yeah, right. Why would they held out until 1990? Like, okay, we'll do the wave.
All right.
All I'm telling you is what I read in the paper the next day.
All right.
My dad pointed it out to me. He said, "Oh, look at that, son! I told you should have gone to the ball game. We did the wave."
Yeah.
Wait, were you at the ball game or weren't you?
I was at the
Story's just falling apart.
Confirming that I did the right thing by going to the ball game and participating in the wave.
Yeah, son.
We bonded.
Yeah.
Look at that. Success.
And you guys both took a big line of Coke off the table.
A couple of bumps. Have a bump, son.
Have a bump with me, boy.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You'll see all the waves in the world.
They're pretty, Dad.
Such an asshole.
As I understand it, Kevin, you have some information about the Scotts. Drew Scott.
Well, Drew Scott in particular, the two guys that they meet up with are Gatsby, who I know very little about, except that he's played by Scott Powell, who was a member of Sha Na Na.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Again, getting back to the idea of a 70s nostalgia act, he was part of the Sha Na Na group.
He was in Woodstock.
Yeah, they played Woodstock.
So that means he would have been at Woodstock. But in his IMDb credits, they don't show that he's in the movie Grease, which is how I first knew Sha Na Na. So I'm wondering if he fell out of the group, or maybe if he was listed. Maybe they're listed in Grease as Sha Na Na, or maybe it's himself. But that's the deal with the bald guy Gatsby. Now the guy in the blue shirt, that's Brian McConaughey.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if I'm saying his name right. He would have known Doug Kenny from the National Lampoon. He probably would have worked with Brian Doyle Murray because he did the National Lampoon Radio Hour. But he's an interesting 70s guy because he actually hit the big three that he worked for National Lampoon, Saturday Night Live, and SCTV as a writer. So he went across the board. And I think your listeners are gonna know him best for his role in Strange Brew, where he's the guy who gives the electric shock to the Mackenzie brothers. Says, "Hi, I'm Ted. I'll be working with you today."
And we talked about this in a minute that hasn't aired yet. Is that because I think he's in a bunch of Woody Allen movies as well.
He's in a bunch of Woody Allen movies. Yeah. He's in Mr. Mike's Mondo video in the Laser Bra 2000 segment. He's the government scientist who's testing the laser bra with some attractive young ladies.
Do you think people saw him in Caddyshack and his awesome performance as Drew Scott and said, we gotta be in business with this guy. We're gonna put him in everything.
I think he's primarily known as a writer.
Okay.
So he writes a lot of just offbeat weird things. He was famous that the National Lampoon editors would each pick like a topic or a theme for the different month's issue. So sometimes they would do stuff about violence or sex, the sex issue, the politics issue, and his theme that he picked for an issue was a dual theme: isolationism and tooth decay. So he was known for having a very offbeat sense of humor. There's I went to my bookshelf. There's a National Lampoon anthology book, a reprint, and the story of his that's in there is called Rural Free Love, and it's kind of a short story retelling of the famous joke of traveling salesman whose car runs out of gas, so he goes to the farm up the road, and it just turns into this very bizarre, weird sexual adventure of different people telling him you can't do this and you can't do that, you can't do any A&P, and they never say what A&P is, and that's the crux of the story, and it goes on for pages and pages and pages. Really bizarre. So apparently he was one of these guys nobody could get really what planet he was from. He was kind of like the National Lampoon weirdo, as opposed to all the counterculture drug users, Harvard intellectuals. He was marching to the beat of his own drum.
It sounds like he fit in though in a weird way.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
So wait, I have to get back to, you said Gatsby. Like that guy actually has a name. That's incredible.
His name is Gatsby in the credits, but I don't think they say it anywhere in the movie.
One thing I keep coming back to is this movie is so ramshackle and so random, but they pay such strict attention to Drew Scott and his buddy and the fact that Rodney is there as their guest. That's just really like, I if I hadn't been there, I wouldn't have missed it. I wouldn't have been like, how's Rodney being able to just walk around the golf course? Like I've never in my life paid attention to like who is who's caddy. I've never put together that like there's, Smails and Beeper and the Reverend or the Bishop are a team, like they're golfing together, and then Al's, all of this,
and the 3 D'Annunzio caddies, and
I never paid attention to any of that stuff. It was just like stuff that's being said and funny things are happening.
Here's something I found strange in this minute. Let me know, and it might have been addressed in a previous minute when Smails is recovering from the slice, he's kicking his ball. He's asking Danny about Ty Webb. So it strikes me as so strange that the judge knows who else that he knows that Danny is caddying for somebody else.
Oh, that's a good point. And them specifically,
because I think of him as the running joke on The Simpsons where Mr. Burns says, "Who is that man? Who is that fat man?" That's Homer Simpson, sir. Not only does he know who Danny is, he knows who else Danny caddies for. Is a little convenient.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it's sort of just in his sort of conniving nature. He's sort of in other parts of the movie trying to ferret out maybe what's Ty Webb shooting. Maybe you can take on Dr. Beeper and I'm no slouch myself.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's already taken on. He's already shown like an interest in what Ty is up to for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like trying to compare himself, and so it might make sense that he would. Who caddies for old Ty Webb? I'm gonna get some information out of him.
Right, he has Lou Loomis phone in all the caddy.
Right, yeah. He can boss Loomis around and get some information.
Right.
I would like to pat myself on the back for a second. I never do any research for this show. Part of that, I'll say that's by design, but really it's just a little bit of laziness. But like the design part is like, well, I'm just watching Caddyshack and reacting to Caddyshack. If a question comes up, maybe we'll answer it on the show. Like I might not like make the effort to like go find out who Drew Scott is and stuff. But I really should. I'm going to be better about that. But one thing I did look up, I was fascinated by by Al Czervic's remote control for his bag. Mm-hmm. I love that remote. And I was looking at it and I was trying to see what it was. I was like freezing it on my TV and stuff. I was like, oh, it looks like it says Casio, but it's upside down. Is that like, are they just holding it upside down to obscure it or something, what it actually is? And I looked it up and it is actually an upside down Casio calculator.
Wow.
That's what that remote is. Yeah. And I'm amazed that I was right and that I even found confirmation for it. I was very excited.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm proud of myself.
That's almost never the reason I pause a video and take a very close look.
It almost always has to do with remote controls when I pause.
Electronics of some kind.
Yeah. Look at
that. A ColecoVision?
Oh my God, look at that. The old controls with the knob on the top. That's fantastic. Oh my God.
Mother, where's my magnifying glass?
You just hear Tom's belt buckle hit the floor.
I can't really make out what this is. These pants are restricting me. I'm going to get down to my underwear and my magnifying glass out.
Playing in television baseball with like fully articulated arms and legs. Atari is just a bunch of blobs.
You get right up against that TV there.
I must, Tom, I'll second that pat on the back. That's a tremendous piece of research there.
Good find.
Thank you.
How did
proud
you
of
track
myself.
that down? You found that remote control and tracked it down, and then matched up the photos. There's no way
No.
anybody wrote about this online.
I looked at it. I was like, I think that says Casio, but it's weird. It looks like it's upside down. For some reason, I really want to find out what that is.
Enhance.
And enhance. I did the old Blade Runner thing.
Zoom in.
Augment. Yeah. Zoom. Turn
Go
around
around
the
the
corner. The opposite angle of where Rodney's standing. And yeah. But no, I looked up. I typed in like Caddyshack Czervic remote. And like the third thing down was a guy. Oh, now I feel like a jerk. I should give him a plug. He's a guy who he recreated this entire bag with like with the beer tap and the radio queued up to like any way you want it and everything.
You're kidding.
And no, he built the entire thing, and he specified that the remote control was a Casio calculator.
I love it. So
And
the
even
guy
noted, he's
could-
like, well, people probably thought the producers probably thought that it looked fancy and futuristic enough, just as a silver thing with buttons, that nobody would bother and care.
When it cuts to his hand, hey, kid, it's a joke, and he cuts to his hand. It doesn't look like Rodney's hand. It's like a hairy hand.
I wondered about that. Yeah. Oh, did we lose people?
Yeah, you lost me again.
Wait. Oh,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
you good, Dan?
yeah, we're all here now.
Does
Okay.
the Indiana Jones Minute have this problem?
All the time. But then old Tom Taylor edits it out, and it sounds like gold.
I hope your face is all melt off. And then- that's what I think.
It'll happen.
I wish the Indiana Jones Minute was.
Oh, speaking of caddies in Caddyshack, does Spalding not have a caddy? Would no one caddy for him?
No,
Because
there
he's
is
got that-
somebody there.
Oh, there is?
There's somebody in the back with Lacey.
Hmm.
I don't
Oh,
think
okay.
Lacey's not golfing. She's just hanging out over there.
Oh, okay. So the caddy is hanging out
Yeah.
with her? Who is it?
Assholes.
Double
Double
turn.
farts.
Double farts.
I really enjoy the background, foreground blocking and choreography of this scene when Danny and the judge are having one conversation and Spalding's
yeah.
in the background. It's great.
It is really awesome. There are moments in this movie where like, oh my gosh, there's skilled people making this movie. That's cool. Look at them go. And this is one of them. Yeah, there's stuff going on in the background. It's interesting that Judge Smails like made a huge point of being furious with Spalding before for like cussing and stuff on the golf course. But now as he's like trying to drill Danny for information about Ty Webb, he's not paying any attention to that at all.
Right.
And he's cheating.
And he's
And
cheating.
he's cheating. And he's supposedly worried about what gophers can do to a golf course. And meanwhile, Spalding is just absolutely ravaging the fairway with 3 minutes.
There's a lot going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Spalding doing that is the perfect cover for him. So he's almost like welcoming Spalding
The distraction.
for being
Oh,
distracted
sure.
so he could keep cheating. I want you to improve your lie a little bit.
Oh, yeah, good thinking, yeah.
And thinking about the Spalding,
rules.
I mean, what he's doing right here, I wonder how many takes it took for Spalding to do that. Because there's actually, he's chipping it away. He's hacking away.
Yeah.
He's actually moving the ball. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing. So I wonder if there was like maybe he hit the ball too hard and it went off,
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be hard to do. You're right.
Yeah, it's almost like a skill.
Like hit it badly, but not too far or anything.
And while
yeah.
and
And
Yeah,
remembering your
that-
lines like double farts.
well, that was
and
probably
shit.
all dubbed in later.
That could be. Double
Assholes.
dubbed in.
like a lot of the movies, a very obvious dialogue recording done later.
Yeah.
They probably just did all the dialogue post.
Oh, you know what? I don't need to pat myself on my back on the back for this one, but I did look up winter rules. I was curious about winter rules.
Mhm.
I don't think it has anything to do with winter, but it has to do with preferred lies, and improving his lie means a golfer can lift the ball if he or she wants to, that is landed on a closely mown area, and move it to improve the ball position, but not closer to the hole.
Oh,
Which I think I sort of knew, but I don't know why that's called winter rules.
oh.
So they can move it in the direction away from the hole.
I guess so.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can't
they can
make
get
the
so they can
shot
get a better
close.
swing at it, I guess. I only know from like miniature golf where you can take like a putter's length from the little brick edge of the thing. Yeah, I'm a sportsman. Mike likes to
I
think I'm not a
do like
sportsman.
the double meaning of improve your lie.
Oh my
That's,
god, I didn't
Very
think
good, yeah.
That's pretty clever.
Improve your
that's
lie.
very clever. See this movie, this has got some
A
stuff
lot
up its
going on.
sleeve.
Layers.
Oh, but yeah, we mentioned it before, but I mean, maybe my favorite movie or my favorite line from this movie, the whole, "Huh, I don't believe it, really." That's incredible. I mean, yeah, Jason Robards, we love you, but come on, we got Ted Knight in this movie.
You'd said in a previous episode you were going to reveal your favorite line in the movie. Is that the one?
That's actually not the one. This might be my favorite. I quote this
Line
maybe
reading?
the most. Yeah, I think that's it. It's my favorite, like Ted Knight-ism. It's just really. He just
really?
he goes into like full Ted Baxter
And to be able
Hall
to
of Justice.
and to be able to deliver that while Spaulding's hacking away in the background.
Yeah, I mean, by all accounts, Ted Knight was like a pro. He wasn't like being a goofball on set. He may be to the point of being a little bit of a stiff, but and like being annoyed by like maybe Chevy Chase or something. You hear stories, but I mean, my God, what a pro! He's a finely honed craftsman.
Do you guys know the movie Nashville, the Robert Altman movie Nashville?
Oh, of course.
That apparently Keenan Wynn, just because he was from such a different generation of all the other actors, that Altman had everybody improvising and ad-libbing and seeing where the character takes you. And Keenan Wynn would only do the scripted dialogue that was given to him. He would not. He refused to. And I kind of feel like the Ted Knight is sort of in the similar position that he apparently was an exercise freak, so he was in good shape. He would bring a juicer to the location, and he was drinking like juice on set because he was very health conscious, and everybody else was smoking and drinking. And I forget where I heard the stories of Rodney Dangerfield banging on the Murray brothers' door trying to get weed one night, and they gave him like they had a bag of like all the seeds and all the useless stuff, so they pawned it off on Rodney Dangerfield. But then meanwhile, Ted Knight was the consummate professional.
Yeah, we used to call that residue the shake.
Yeah, they gave him a bag of the shake.
Yeah. Oh man,
that's crazy.
That is awesome. Supposedly Rodney was like a big time stoner right up to the end.
I believe it.
Yeah. By the way, 12th anniversary of Rodney's passing. This coming Wednesday.
Wait, he died 12 years ago?
I believe it was 12 years ago.
That's crazy. That doesn't seem like that long ago. Wow. Weird.
Yeah,
but then Ted Knight died ages before that, and he was the healthy one.
There was apparently a thing that somebody told me about in syndicated television, that they added a clause in people's contracts because he was before John Ritter died while he was still on that show 8 Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter, and they kept the show going. That apparently after Too Close for Comfort, or maybe when it was syndicated or something, it was called the Ted Knight Show, and Ted Knight died. And the production company was like, "We are going to continue making the Ted Knight Show."
Oh my God!
So then after that, it famously changed the way they worded contracts. That it was like, if Kevin James dies, we are not going to keep producing Kevin Can Wait.
Wait, they still made Too Close for Comfort without Ted Knight?
I'm going to look it up right now if there was a show that came after Too Close for Comfort. So bear with me while I look this up.
That's weird.
See what it's.
All right, going back to Too Close for Comfort.
Yeah.
The daughters lived in the house, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
They lived in the basement, right? Or did Monroe live in the basement?
Monroe.
I don't remember the layout of the apartment.
Because it almost seemed like the two girls had it almost like they had their own separate apartment within that house. I don't remember. I'm going to go back to this now because I won't be able to sleep. Where the hell did Monroe stay? Why the hell was Monroe in the house in the first place?
I'm going to guess Monroe would have been in like the attic.
Like Fonzie over the garage.
Yeah, something like that.
Like Fonzie lived in the garage, right above the garage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which later is where Mike Seaver moved on Growing Pains, because that's where cool guys live. That they're nearby, but they're not too close.
Right. They got their own pad.
I got my own place. It's pretty cool. Couple of posters up.
That's where Kirk Cameron went to get all his ideas.
Right. Yeah.
Purge his demons.
Yeah.
Monroe.
No.
Yeah, but I don't know. Is it wrong to say that I hated Too Close for Comfort?
No,
I watched it, but I just say it wasn't good.
I didn't think it was good. No.
No.
I don't know.
It was beneath Ted Knight. I'll say that. I didn't like Muriel. She was a drag. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go
Was
ahead.
Jim J labeled? Was he like a swinging ladies' man bachelor?
Oh, I think he was the coded homosexual without being out on the
Without being
show,
out,
right?
Yeah, well, that's,
Just
yeah,
like
that's
the
what I'm
wacky
wondering
guy.
too, because like looking back, it's like, well, I know Jim J. Bullock now as being like an out, star type of
Yeah.
dude. I
like
wouldn't
Rip
say
Taylor.
star. He never got center square in Hollywood Squared. But he's just a guy. I think of him as in some sense a gay icon. So looking back, it's hard for me to see like what he was supposed to represent in the show, like the the Larry character from
The Regal Beagle.
Three's Company, or with the the medallion around the neck, on the hairy chest, or the
Stop right there. Last time you guys got to talking about Three's Company, it ended poorly. Let's change the topic.
That's right. We couldn't keep getting into this, man. We should mix it up a little bit.
Can I ask you guys, has this come up yet? Have you talked about the trailer for Caddyshack? The theatrical trailer on YouTube?
God, I don't think I've ever even seen it.
No,
I watched it in prepping for this. I'd never seen it before. It really doesn't do the movie justice in any way. It looks like such a worse movie. The one thing it has going for it is there's clearly, you're seeing some of the deleted scenes, some of the stuff that didn't make it into the final cut. There's a part where Danny Noonan is juggling golf balls. There's it looks like it happened during the tournament. The Ty Webb talks to Lacey Underall and says something about, we couldn't care less about each other.
really.
Yeah. So there's a couple of, you'll notice a few moments that didn't make it into the final film, but it really doesn't look like they know how to market or sell the movie.
Wow. That's what what. There's all those publicity stills that put Lacey and Carl together.
Oh, I've never seen
You see
those.
them like hanging out by the. It's like it looks really forced and really weird, and like they're like kind of out of character or something. And it's just the two of them against a bush or something, and she's looking a little lost and sultry, and he's looking confused, and it's just weird. It's like, oh yeah, remember that part of Caddyshack?
Oh, I'm looking at it right now.
What are they doing together? I mean, that's like the one person that I think she probably wouldn't sleep with in the entire.
Right. Yeah.
It's always weird when you see deleted things in the trailer, because like on a superficial level, you figure the trailer's like, check out all the best stuff from this movie, and then it's like half of it is stuff that didn't make the final cut.
Right.
Maybe there's a nuance to this, that there's a reason for that. But I feel like that does happen. You see things that have been cut from a movie in the trailer.
Well, sometimes they put the trailer together before they're even done filming.
Oh, that's true. No.
Yeah,
Throw it together to kind of do have like they could be promoting it in a year from now. This movie will be coming out. So sometimes
I
feel like sometimes in the Judd Apatow movies, they do some of the alternate lines in the trailer.
Oh yeah.
That way they're not giving away the jokes and ruining it once people finally see it.
Yeah, it's kind of
that gets really jarring though. Like if for movies like we're all well, some of us are bigger nerds than others, but like in like I don't know, any Star, like I always think of like the Indiana Jones, the Crystal Skull, with the preview for that. He's got and the Red Letter Media guys made a big deal out of this when he says the line. The kid says, "Oh, you're a teacher," and he says, part-time, or I forget how he says it now, because he says it differently in the movie. He says it one way that makes it's kind of funny in the preview, and then the movie says it completely differently. And there's all sorts of things like that where you've seen it in the preview and you know it's coming, but then it happens differently in the movie, and it's jarring and it's not fun.
I know another example of that somebody has pointed out to me. It drives them crazy. And now I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
I think it might have actually been right before Han Solo goes into the Sarlacc pit.
Oh, really?
There's a line of dialogue that it might be they use different versions in the remastered. I don't know. I don't want to go down this tangent.
Hey, Dan, you want to go get a drink?
Yeah, let's
let these two talk about Star Wars and whatever they're talking about.
Let's talk about more alternate line readings in trailers versus theatrical release.
Yes.
There's
That's why we're here.
Star Wars fan fiction people listening, going, listen to these nerds.
Okay, can I be a super nerd and say that I'm excited that Kevin brought up Nashville, because I just realized as I was preparing for this minute that Grace, who I mentioned before, the blonde Baby Ruth girl, she was in A Wedding by Robert Altman, which I love. And I feel like I've always sort of put them to get like, oh, she looks like the girl from A Wedding.
Oh, I never saw that
she
one.
actually is. That's a great movie. I love them. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, to check that out.
Carol
What are you talking
Burnett,
about?
Paul Dooley.
Which character's in it?
Grace, the caddy. Great.
Is that Anne Ryerson, or is Anne Ryerson?
That's Anne Ryerson.
Oh, that's good.
See,
That's great.
I'm building up my behind the scenes Caddyshack knowledge as we do this.
Yeah,
Just
it's really
tossing off names. Oh well, Rodney swings, and we know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think it's a shame, Kevin, that you don't get to see what happens.
I'll have to tune in next week to find out what happens.
Yeah.
I'll just go back and say, in defense of Doug Kenny wanting to do like a real strong social satire, I think that probably the best example of that is later on in the movie when Judge Smails says, "I've sent boys younger than you to the gas chamber. I didn't want to do it, but I felt I owed it to them." Like that to me is like a whole movie of that would have been like a blistering satire. That would have been amazing. I love the Baby Ruth jokes too. I love the dancing puppet gopher. You know, I take it at face value. And just a quick, I'm sure at some point or another you guys have talked about the first time you saw Caddyshack. Before I even saw Caddyshack, I have an older sister. Her friend had seen some of it on cable and was telling her about the Baby Ruth scene. So it's like you have two kids talking about a movie that he shouldn't have been watching, telling somebody else about it. And then I'm eavesdropping to older kids hearing about it. So I'm like 3 levels removed from Caddyshack, and I'm like, I've got to see this movie. It sounds amazing.
Oh,
and it paid off. It really was funny.
That's excellent. Yeah, I think I said that I don't remember having any knowledge of Caddyshack before it just showed up on cable. And my cousins had cable before I did, so I was visiting them in Ohio, and Caddyshack came on. I was like, I should not be watching this, I don't think, but I'm so excited that I'm watching this. This is awesome.
Yeah,
I'm having a ball.
But it was also the 80s, and you weren't really supposed to be doing anything, even though, we talked about this in an earlier minute, where we were like feral cats, where you would just walk, you would just be outside unsupervised.
No, I was outside all day.
But when it came down to like movies and stuff like that, it seems like everything you weren't supposed to watch or look at. I remember the Columbia House tapes. You would order the tapes from Columbia House.
Yeah,
my friend's house. That was the place where his dad had all the movie magazines. Yeah, don't go in the second drawer to the left while I'm gone. Right. And his mom was just as nuts, and she had a box full of marital aids.
Wow.
Big rubber marital aids.
No one has called them marital aids in earnest in 40 years.
It was a goddamn house of horrors, and you go over there. But I remember I was over there one time, and it was like it couldn't do anything, even though you knew that these parents were degenerates, and they're always telling you, "Don't turn that TV on. There's garbage on the TV." She gets her Columbia House tape show up, and Jason opens it up, and she goes, "Those my tapes?" She goes, "Yeah, which one is it?" He opens it up because it's Dolly Parton, and she goes, "Don't open it all the way." And because obviously because Dolly Parton has big breasts, so you can't open it all the way and stare at her breast. But she's got a box full of marital aids. The dad's in there with a sack full of Hustlers in the second drawer. Then you go put on cable. You watch Hot Dog, the movie about skiing, and there's a bunch of boobs in that.
Yeah,
Jack has its innuendos and whatnots. There's boobs here. It's the 80s.
That's a regular Harper Valley PTA. You just described.
Barbara Eden, right?
Oh, I just meant the song in general, but the movie too.
Yeah, she was in that. Yeah. You have a poster of her too, Tom? You get all sweaty to that one?
I did not have a
I like
sweaty,
Barbara Eden. I'll go on record.
Sure.
I like Barbara Eden.
Yeah, that was a special time. The 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Sitcom
Lots of
ladies.
shows about witches and genies and stuff.
Batgirl.
Yeah. Batgirl, forget it. Wonder Woman.
Forget about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman. Oh my god.
Superpowers.
You know what's horrible? I shouldn't say this online, but my sister pointed out the fact a long time ago that she looks a lot like Diana Prince, that she looks a lot like Linda Carter in Wonder Woman. I'm like, oh geez, now what do I do?
Wait. She pointed that out to you?
Yeah, well, it sounded like that she and her friends were like, hey, it's funny. I found this picture of Wonder Woman. You look
She
like
come
her.
home and say, Tom, do you know, guess what? I look just like Wonder Woman.
Deal with that.
Deal with that.
Right.
Now you go be Steve Austin.
No.
See what happens.
All right, Tom.
Oh, Tom.
It's terrible.
You always find out something weird about Tom you didn't want to
Yeah.
know near the end
Fill a book.
of the thing. Tom comes out
You
with
know what it is? It's like after he's already done committed his atrocity and he's in jail.
Mm-hmm.
You go and you have interviews with Tom, and he
Right.
tells you about all the horrible things that he did. That's like the
double
business.
jeopardy.
Yeah, you like learn about all the. You need something from this. You're talking to him about something, but then he drops in these weird things
I
about
seem
his
really
life.
stable on the Indiana Jones minute. I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah, well, what are you gonna do, Tom?
What are you gonna do?
Nobody coaxes it out of you in that minute. The
All
way
right, write
that's
that
true.
down. Tom's sister looks like Wonder Woman.
This will all be cut out.
Oh boy.
Much like
Oh, boy.
Caddyshack itself, only about a third
Yes.
of this is going to make it to the public.
Right.
Right.
A 10-minute episode.
Did she have a did she have a lasso too, Tom?
A golden lariat.
I got her one. Yeah.
Did she fly around.
I got her one.
I got her one. Yeah.
Wow. A golden lariat that makes you tell the truth. That's like
You know what my mom
that's a
did
marital
once?
lady
You wanna hear
right there.
Speaking of Wonder Woman, you want to hear why my mom is hysterical? I was watching. This all comes together. Ted Knight. We were watching. Super Friends, and Wonder Woman flying around in her invisible jet. And I go, Mom, wouldn't it be cool if I had an invisible jet like Wonder Woman? And she said, how do you know I didn't already get you an invisible jet?
Ah,
And it blew my mind. And I was running around in the backyard in the basement trying to run into something invisible. And then I was after all, oh, you know what? I think Mom was being clever with me. Touche, Janet.
Quick, back to school.
Life
Back to school. What did he want? He wants what all men want. Wants you to tie him up with a golden lariat, force you to tell the truth.
Oh yeah. Oh my
That was
god.
back to school.
Yeah, that's in Back to
Yeah.
School. The stuffy old teacher says it,
Oh.
right? And when he's washing the car, and Rodney comes out and goes, "What do you charge for big cars?" Because he's like washing the windshield. Oh, I love that.
I want to figure out a way to make it that Czervic and Mellon are the same guy.
They're almost the same guy.
It can't be that hard, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could argue that all of Back to School is Al's dream.
Sure. Hey, we've done it before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll work. Triple Lindy. There's no way that happens in real life.
Right.
Isn't it the story that like on this movie that like, Rodney was he came to like Harold Ramis or somebody's like, hey, I'm bombing. This is going. I'm not going to do a Rodney impression. This is horrible. I'm like, why? I'm sorry. This is going so badly because he thought he didn't get
No
that.
one was laughing.
No one's supposed to be laughing in the background. on the
Yeah.
set.
Because he's
doing
a stand-up comic, and that's the absolute currency of like whether you're doing well or not. It's the only thing
right.
you have. And suddenly
that
he's
driving
just
him nuts.
silence. You can just imagine the way that felt to him.
But I'm
And,
bummed.
and the thing I read is that that Harold Ramis would call action, and Rodney wouldn't do anything. So he had to start telling Rodney, and this was true throughout the movie, Rodney, do your bit.
And just starts reeling off one-liners like you
Yep.
like you wind up Henny Youngman and just let him go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
you
fine.
bet.
All right, get a haircut. All right, okay, good.
Okay, fine.
Okay, that's a
$100 a
joke.
slice of
Okay,
the once.
fine.
Okay, fine.
Place your bets.
Place your bets. Oh, it's
On
gold.
the good side.
Well, all right, everybody.
Yeah, it doesn't feel
Well,
like
we're
the
still
end because
friends.
nothing's gone completely off the rails, Tom. But you've kept it together well this
Yeah,
time.
sometimes we don't have to get mad at the end or
Well,
everything
let's
doesn't
talk
Go
about
with the Wonder Woman stuff.
To be fair,
yeah.
peek behind the curtain. I'm trying to be thoughtful of Dan's. He has a hard out in a few minutes, and
Yeah. That's
where are you going,
podcast
Dan?
industry parlance for I got to leave at a certain time.
Oh, I thought it meant you're having something removed.
Oh,
You're going to the doctor and having an
Tom.
abscess dealt with.
If we have a minute, though, can I get an update on Mike's pants?
Oh yeah, we should go
I
back to that.
just listened to episode 9. I was on a car ride back from Maryland where I listened to two things. I was listening to an audiobook about the death of Spalding Gray,
Oh my God.
And then I listened to minute 9, which in some ways was maybe a little more depressing than the Spalding Gray audiobook. Hearing about buying baggy farmer pants on purpose to shame yourself. Mike, how are you doing? I struggle with my weight and with my clothes as well. So it hit very close to home. How's your progress?
I listened to the minute 9 and I was kind of upset. I'm like, the fuck am I going on and on about this for? I'm a good-looking guy. I said, you know what? I don't need to be shaming myself. I look in the mirror. You know what? You're a good-looking guy. So you lost a ton of weight, and then you put some of it back on. In other words, I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm doing good.
You're still ahead.
I'm still ahead. Yeah, I still got. Yeah. I'm still. The casino hasn't taken all my cash yet.
All right.
We'll see.
You can still walk away from the table.
Yeah. Depressing. It's depressing.
Well, that's good. Now we can take the PayPal button off the website.
Yeah.
You don't have to buy me new pants.
Right. With the puffing up pants, right?
Yeah, it was going to get farmer pants, some umpire pants.
Goal. Pants need to be this fat to reach the goal.
Yeah, you just pump up the pants every $5.
Yeah.
I like that Mike suffers for the people.
Yeah.
We can all relate
like sad
to
clown.
Mike's ordeals.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, on Mike's suffering that's not going so badly.
I'm on the up and up. Don't worry about me.
You are.
Good.
Hey, let's get the plugs in. What do you say? Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Thanks.
Oh, yeah. So, Kevin, where can people find you and find out about your show and come see you?
If you go to kevingeeksout.com, you can find out about the latest shows. And if you're not in the tri-state area around New York City, you can look at some of the videos that we've made, either for Kevin Geeks Out or some short films that I've done. It's all on the kevingeeksout.com media page. And I'll have to link to this podcast appearance, so you can see some of the podcasts. You can hear some of the other podcasts I've been on.
Oh, awesome. Excellent.
Fantastic.
Excellent.
Look at us, mass communicating.
Mm-hmm.
Happy O'Danny.
Dumb some bitch. Not pressing the flesh. We're mass communicating.
Dan, you got stuff going on. What do you want to plug anything? I never asked you if you want to plug anything.
No, this is a pre-recorded podcast, but I'll be performing open mic comedy tonight. I'll be performing open mic comedy tonight at the New Parkway Theater. So if you're listening to this and have a time machine, come on down.
Yeah, just travel faster than humanly possible.
Yeah.
Endanger the time-space continuum and go see Dan.
Right.
And by the
Probably
time
have
you
really
remember, that stuff was funny back then.
That was awesome, Dan.
Yeah. I got the Naptime comedy stuff. They can check that out. Naptimecomedy.com.
Oh, beautiful.
But that's Go ahead. I'm not into this, for the plugs. I know, I didn't want to.
That was good housekeeping, Dan. Thank you.
Yeah.
I would have just let that go because I'm a bad podcaster.
Yeah.
Well, all right, everyone. Thank you very much. I can hear the boats in the background and Rodney's air horn. Mm-hmm. That means it's time to say goodnight.
Smails is crying.
This is stopping. But please come back. Join us again next time for minute 23 of Caddyshack here on the Caddyshack Minute.
You scratched my anchor.
Let's see if we can recite that entire thing as it's going on in the background. What are we going to do when we get to that minute of the show?
It's going to be like
the boat scene.
Have a party that day.
Oh wow.
Well, let's find out how long does
it's like a snake eating its tail.
Wonder how long that scene is.
I think it's about 2 minutes.
Okay.
It spans a couple of minutes.
Okay.
Don't ask me how I know. I just do this
plan something special for that one.
Yeah.
You know what we should do? We should have a contest, and I can. The winner gets my farmer pants.
The pants.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, get the farmer pants.
Wow.
And a bottle of Waldtussen. You get a complimentary bottle of Waldtussen.
Our legal department will look into that and see if it's all on the
right. Yeah, exactly. I looked at him right now. He's doing the thing where he crosses his neck with his finger. No, don't do that.
Oh, okay, all right. Thanks, Morty.
I did because I went and bought these huge pants not that long ago, and I was really depressed. I had my kids with me,
Oh,
I said, Dad went from the hipster pants, from the fat pants and hipster pants back to the fucking farmer pants. Now I'm back in the hipster pants, but I have the farmer pants. We're gonna auction them off. Take a picture and we'll put them on the site.
There you go.
Yeah,
Daddy's weight is yo-yoing.
that's what we should do, and we should send him to Kevin as a gift for being like a parting gift for being on the show.
Oh, sure.
We'll send him the fat pants and the wall tuffing.
What would be great is I will mail them to the next guest, but before I do, I'll take a photo of myself wearing the pants, and everybody who gets the pants has to try them on.
And here's the problem with that: somebody they're going to be too small for. Yeah.
If they're too small, you just wrap them around your neck like an ascot or something.
I got a certain amount of spandex to them to their little stretchy jeans too. It's almost like they feel like comfortable.
You've got all the answers. What are you doing here?
that's what we call a life hack. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Life hack number 22. Mm-hmm.
I feel like I should end the show again. Thanks for coming and visiting us on the Caddyshack Minute. Please join us again next time for minute 23.
Are you recording this? This is the extra
the show's
material.
over. This is the encore.
This is for Patreon subscribers.
Yeah.
Those of you, this will go on the Criterion collection.
Yeah. The platinum slate.
You have to know the special code in the menu to get to this Easter egg sample of the show.
During the pledge drive, this will get this. You get this with a $50 donation in a tote bag.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get a tote bag with the fat pants and the extra scenes.
This is how the sausage is made.
If you want to keep enjoying the Caddyshack Minute every week, every day, whatever this is, what are we up to now? 2 days a week? Please pledge generously. Help support your local station. People don't know. They'll send us money. It'll be awesome. Well, now that we've scammed our audience.
She's Wonder Woman.
Should I cut that out? That sounds super creepy, doesn't it?
No, you leave it in,
It's
Tom.
fine. There's nothing
I
wrong
guess I
with
leave
it.
it in.
It's it.
My sister's
You prefaced it by saying that it was creepy, and then you said something creepy.
That covers me, right?
Don't blindside somebody that said.
Look, my sister's an attractive woman. I'm not like, attracted to her, but I can...
Stop! Okay, drop anchor! Hey, you scratched my ankle!